Coming to another important topic that I think people do lack awareness on is the HPV vaccine, cervical cancer. And also, can you tell us something about the age group that is recommended to take this vaccine?
Sandhya, to start with, many girls and women are not aware of what cervix is in the first place, because it's a hidden organ. And everybody knows about uterus, okay, the child, it's a womb, and then there's a pregnancy happens there. But the cervix, as in being the neck of the uterus, because there was a open forum where we were discussing, and I just asked, do you know what the cervix is? Yes, doctor, I know. I had cervical spondylitis. Okay, so because I wear heel chappals, and afterwards I stopped, and they did. So cervix is actually the neck. So she is right in referring to the neck and had the cervical spondylitis, but that's a more common terminology. So I said, okay, we are referring to the neck of the uterus. So from there you have to begin, guiding them. So nobody can see, nobody knows, and it's a women-centric issue of cervical cancer, which is a dreaded disease. Okay, and just imagine the fascinating breakthrough in science about the know-how that HPV is the single virus which is responsible for the cervical cancer, and therefore just like polio virus, you destroy it by giving the polio vaccine, eliminated polio from the country. The same way the HPV vaccine or the cervical cancer vaccine will eliminate the HPV virus, and the dream is that the cervical cancer should be a non-issue. That's where we have to reach, and the WHO has given us a slogan of 90-70-90. That is 90% of our girls between 9 and 14 should receive at least a single dose of the vaccine, which is so doable. And I think the government is going to take that on board very soon. And though in private, we are already doing now, there are cost constraints, but the volumes will increase, local manufacturers will come in, and then this should be made available at least for all the outgoing school students and school dropouts also. Now there are many mechanisms where we can, because we are aiming at 90. But even if you succeed and get at 70% of our young girls, 9 to 14 years, receiving one shot of this HPV vaccine, the next 20 years, we will be averting 5.6 million deaths. That is the scale, importance of giving this vaccine. And we are now beginning to encash on this movement of the COVID vaccine being an adult vaccination, and everybody's in mind is running towards preventive care. What is it? How can we do? Doctor, are there any other new vaccines available? So now that they have started asking that, they're in the right frame of mind to accept the advice on the cervical cancer vaccine. So that's a must. However, the 9 to 14 age group, if we have missed that out, the catch-up vaccine, what we call, can be given right until the age of 45 years. Because potentially, until that age, if the HPV enters the body and lodges there in the cervix for maybe more than a decade, then the cells will grow into cancerous cells. So you have the multiple opportunities at any. She may be coming to fix a menstrual problem, but you can always talk to her about the cervix, the cervical cancer, the availability of the cervical cancer vaccine. Does she have any daughters? Are they vaccinated? And do the school programs, this, that, and the other. So there's a lot of scope. So 90% vaccinated at the right age group, 70% early detected, because now we can directly test the HPV virus, unlike in the past. And that is a test which is catching on even for self-care. Like COVID test, you do it at home. Urine pregnancy test, you do it at home. So you can do the HPV test also at home. The self-care kits are now made in India, and there's a lot happening around that to build awareness about the availability of this and how once in 5 years the women in the reproductive age group can test themselves for it. So that's a great movement that we are launching. So screen the mother by way of HPV testing and vaccinate the daughter. So this is a mother-daughter initiative. So in combination, the whole family should be covered with that. So 90 is vaccination, 70 is this HPV testing and early detection, and the last 90 is, as early as possible, the early treatment for all of those who are in advanced stages of cancer. And now with Ayushman Bharat being escalated, there are many women now who are availing for under the cover of Ayushman Bharat, the cervical cancer treatment. But we feel that double the number of women can be treated at half the cost if detected early, and they'll have a very good quality of life if the intervention is done early. And of course, we are foreseeing that maybe in another 50 years from now, if all our girls are vaccinated, the card of immunization at birth says the last of the vaccine that the mom should give the daughter is cervical cancer vaccine. And if the whole implementation program of the vaccination happens, we will really be able to eliminate the HPV from the country itself. So that's the goal, which many affluent countries are already at it. But we should not really we should not lag far behind. India was one of the last countries to eliminate polio. We could have done better. We could have gone faster, and now we should not really take those many years as a developing country. We should be proud of the fact that we have fast-tracked, we have managed to implement the vaccination program and got the next generation to a good state of health.
And even one dose of the vaccine has this kind of efficacy.
So countries like Bangladesh have taken one dose, single dose, and it's in the national immunization program. We are waiting for our government to announce something similar very soon. So I think that will give a lot of strength. As it is from 2024, they want to roll it out in 11 states. But as you know, the country is big. It takes time to get people aware. But the girls are wise. The families, even in the villages, have their great native wisdom, and there is no hesitancy if you explain to them in the manner that it should be. So they are more aware and proactive and wanting to take this. So it is just the gap that we have to bridge, that we should be wanting to give it to them as ASAP.
Right. So I think you are doing a lot of awareness around this, even in schools.
Yes.
Are you running campaigns in schools
yeah,
as well?
because we run, typically we don't want to handle one vertical only of HPV. So we run a program called Health and Hygiene in schools, many schools. We used to track behind the ISKCON van, which goes with the midday school meal to various schools. So it's 85,000 children, 1 lakh children in the whole year. So there are so many schools network which are available to us, where we go and do the health and hygiene program, which again, has the anemia care, the nutrition, the sanitation and hygiene, the menstrual health, and what they should be aware of. And we are beginning to get many more questions about sexual activity and contraception, even in girls, 5th, 6th standard, as early as that, because they are exposed to the digital platforms and they are curious. And then it is a good opportunity for us to guide them in the manner that they should be, because they have no other go-to person. So we are thinking of developing, there are already apps available, but maybe we should facilitate in a more user-friendly way, confidentiality and anonymity being maintained, because the more empowered they are with the know-how of how responsible they have to behave, I think it will go a long way in at least reducing the 15 million abortions which happen in our country every year with unintended pregnancies and lack of use of contraception. So it's a mix of everything, inclusive of the awareness of the HPV vaccine, where almost all the schools, the teachers, the parents, and the girls themselves, the awareness is somewhere between 0 to 4%. That's all. So we have a long way to go, but I think it is picking up because people are open to listening to advice on wellness and preventive care. So as I said, this is our moment to encash, and we should do better than what we're already doing. But each one, teach one is our mantra. So we tell all the girls that you have to be the ambassadors. Every day you tell just one person, HPV vaccine is available, go take it.
It's good to know that, the ones who haven't taken it, they still can till the age of 45.
Absolutely.
So it's great. And coming to, you spoke about sexual health and wellness. Are doctors comfortable about talking about that? Have things changed compared to how they used to be?
We did another publication on where do the youth community, where do they seek their advice from? Okay, then 85% of them are from the internet. Okay, and about 5 to 7% are from their friends and peer group, and the last 5% parents and or doctors, because they are not forthcoming to the doctors, and they don't want to stray into a clinic, for example, to check on few of the doubts they may have, and their major source is somebody who is anonymous who can tell them. So we need to be in that space, Sandhya, because the authentic information, the non-judgmental kind of counseling, and then reassuring them and building their confidence as to what it cannot be pushed under the carpet. So typically in a consultation room, we are trying to push things under the carpet, and also we don't know whether the girl who has come with her mother, for example, she doesn't open up and say the things that she wants to say, and many times the mothers are overpowering. They never allow the girl to talk and they want to say it all, and that also happens. And sometimes when they come into the hospital, they may see a friend or a relative, hey, why are you here? That kind of a question. So they are often hesitant to come. So as far as the doctors go, they don't proactively raise this because the target of the adolescent community is not really available to us. We have to reach out to them in many more ways, which can, again, I'm coming back to the technology part of it, which can be done. And as it is, that's the familiar platform that they want to go to.
Right.
Yeah, so we might as well facilitate that a little more strongly than expecting them to come for a one-on-one discussion into our chambers. So some of the senior doctors are still very, very hesitant to ask the question, even for a 20-year-old, 22-year-old, are you sexually active? That question doesn't come with ease. Even for us to begin with, it was difficult because we thought, what would be the response of the girls or of that age group who are career women? Typically they are into sexual activity, but they are not married. Okay, so for a question like this for an unmarried was an unknown thing in the past, but now it's the most common question, leading question that we do ask. So even we've changed our mindset and temperament because we know the ground reality that this is happening and they need advice. So and the girls are much more for, they may teach you a thing or two. Sure.